Hi friends, now discuss Indian polity. Now to the topic UPSC, Union Public Service Commission. The UPSC is the central recruiting agency in India. It is an independent constitutional body in the sense that it has been directly created by the Constitution, Article 315 to 323. So it is important. Okay, Article 315 to Article 323 is Part 14 of the Constitution, contain elaborate provisions regarding the composition, appointment and removal of members, along with the independence, power and function of the UPSC. Composition. The UPSC consists of a chairman and other members appointed by the President of India. Okay. So the Constitution the Constitution, without specifying the strength of the Commission, has left the member of the discretion of the President, who determines its composition. Usually, the Commission consists of 9 to 11 members, including the chairman. Okay. So further, no qualification are prescribed for the commission membership, except that half of the members of the commission should be such persons who have held office for at least 10 years, either under the government of India or under the government of a state. The Constitution also authorizes the President to determine the conditions of service of the chairman and other member of the commission. Okay, so this year UPSC consists of the chairman and other members of the appointed by the President of India. The Constitution also authorizes the President to determine the conditions of services of the chairman and other members of the commission. So here the Constitution, without specifying the strength of the commission, has left the main matter to the discretion of the President, who determines the composition. Usually the commission consists of 9 to 11 members, including the chairman. Further, the no qualifications are prescribed for the commission's membership, except that one half of the members of the commission should be such persons who have held office for at least 10 years, under the government of India and under the government of the state. The Constitution also authorizes the President to determine the conditions of service of the chairman and other members of the commission. The chairman and members of the commission hold office for a term of 5-6 years, or until they attain the age of the 65 years, whichever is earlier. However, they can relinquish their office of any time by addressing their resignation to the President. They can also be removed before the expiry of the term by the President in the manner as provided in the Constitution. The President can appoint one of the members of the UPSC as an acting chairman in the following 2 circumstances: when the office of the chairman falls vacant, or when the chairman is unable to perform his functions due to absence or some other reasons. The acting chairman functions till a person appointed as chairman enters on the duties of the office, or till the chairman is able to resume his duties. Therefore, the President can remove the chairman of any other member of the UPSC from the office under the following circumstances: if he is adjust and insolvent, that is, has gone bankrupt; if he engaged during his term of office in any private employment outside the duties of his duty office; if he is, in the opinion of the President, unfit to continue his office by reason of infirmity of mind or body; In addition to these, the President can also remove the Chairman and any other member of the UPSC. Obviously, for misbehavior. However, in this case, the President has to refer the matter of the matter to the Supreme Court for an inquiry. If the Supreme Court, after the inquiry, upholds the cause of removal and advises, so the President can remove the Chairman of a member under the provisions of the Constitution. The advice tendered by the Supreme Court in this regard is binding on the President. During the course of inquiry by the Supreme Court, the President can suspend the Chairman or the member of the UPSC. Defining the term misbehavior. In this context, the Constitution states that the Chairman or any other member of the UPSC is deemed to be guilty of misbehavior if he is concerned or interested in any contract or agreement made by the Government of India or the government of a state to particularly participates in any way in the profit of such contract or agreement on its and in any benefits therefrom otherwise then as a member and in common with other members as of an incorporated company. Independent. The Constitution has made the following provisions to safeguard and ensure the independent and impartial functioning of the UPSC. The Chairman or a member of the UPSC can be removed from office by the President only in the manner and to be on the grounds mentioned in the Constitution. Therefore, they enjoy security of tenure, the conditions of service of the Chairman or a member. The determined by the President cannot be varied to his disadvantage after his appointment. The entire expenses, including the salaries, allowance, and persons of the Chairman and members of the UPSC, are charged on the Consolidated Fund of India. They are not subject to vote of Parliament. The Chairman of the member of the UPSC can be removed from office by the President only in the manner and on the grounds mentioned in the Constitution. Therefore, they enjoy security of tenure and the conditions of service of the Chairman or member through determined by the President cannot be varied to his disadvantage after his appointment. The entire expenses, including the salaries, allowance, and pensions of the Chairman and members of the UPSC, are charged on the Consolidated Fund of India. Thus, they are not subject to vote of Parliament. The Chairman of UPSC or ceasing to hold office if not eligible for further employment in the Government of India or a state. A member of UPSC on ceasing to hold office is eligible for appointment as a Chairman of UPSC or a State Public Service Commission, but not for any other employment in the Government of India or a state. The Chairman or a member of the UPSC is, after having completed his first term, not eligible for reappointment to that office, and that is not eligible for second term. Function. The UPSC performs the following function. It conducts examinations for appointments to the All India Services, Central Services and Public Services of the centrally administered territories. It assists the states if requested by two or more states to do so in training and operating schemes of joint recruitment for any services for which candidates possessing special qualifications are required. It serves all or any of the needs of the state on the request of the state governor, and with the approval of the President of India. It is consulted on the following matters relating to personal management, matters relating to methods of recruitment to civil service and for civil posts. The principles to be followed in making appointments to civil services and post and in making promotions and transfer from one services to another. The stability of candidates for appointments of civil services and post for promotions and transfer from one service to another, and appointments or transfer of deputation. Okay, the concerned department make recommendation for promotion and request the UPSC to ratify them. All disciplinary matters affecting a person's security serving under the Government of India in a civil capacity, including memorials or petitions relating to such matter. This includes censure, civil disapproval, withholding of increments, withholding of promotions, recovery of parliamentary pecuniary loss, reduction of lower service of rank, the compulsory retirement, removal from service, dismissal from service. Any claim for reimbursement of legal expenses incurred by the civil servant in depending legal proceedings instituted against him in respect as acts done in the execution of his official duties. Any claim for the award of pension in respect of injuries sustained by a person while serving under the Government of India, and any question as to the amount of any such award, matters of temporary appointments for period exceeding 1 year, and on regulations of appointment, matters related to grant of extension of service and re-employment of certain retired civil servants. Any other matters related to personal management. The Supreme Court has held that if the government fails to consult UPSC in the matters the mentioned above, the aggrieved public servant has to remedy in a case. In other words, the court had held that any irregularity in consultation with the UPSC or acting without consultation does not invalidate the decision of the government. Thus, the provisions is directory and not mandatory. Similarly, the court held that a selection by the UPSC does not confer any right to the post upon the candidate. However, the government is to act fairly and without arbitrariness or maleficence. The additional function relating to the services of the Union and conferred on UPSC by Parliament. It can also place the personal system of any authority, corporate body or public or institution within the jurisdiction of the UPSC. Hence, the jurisdiction of UPSC can be extended by any act made by the Parliament. The UPSC presents annually to the President a report on its performance. The President places this report before both the House of Parliament along with a memorandum explaining next cases where the advice of the Commission was not accepted and the reasons for such non-acceptance. All such cases of non-acceptance must be approved by the Appointments Committee of the Union Cabinet, and an individual ministry or department has no power to reject the advice of the UPSC. Limitations. The following matters are kept outside the functional jurisdiction of the UPSC. In other words, the UPSC is not consulted on the following matters while making reservation of appointments or post in favor of any backward class of citizens, while taking into consideration in claims of scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, and making appointments to services and posts with regard to the selection of chairman and membership of commissioners or tribunals, post of the highest diplomatic nature, and a bulk of Group C and Group D services with regard to the selection of for temporary or effect of officiating appointment to the post of the post if the person appointed is not likely to hold the post for more than a year. The president can exclude post services and matters from the purview of the UPSC. The Constitution states that the president is respect to all India services and central services and post may make regulations specifying the matters in which the itself not be necessary for UPSC to be consulted, but all such regulations made by the President shall be laid before each house of the Parliament for at least 14 days. The Parliament can amend or repeal them. Okay, role. The Constitution visualizes the UPSC to be the watchdog of merit system of India. It is concerned with the recruitment to the all India services and central services, Group A and Group B, and advises the government when consulted on promotion and disciplinary matter. It is not concerned with the classifying of services, pay and service condition, career management training, and so on. These matters are handled by the Department of Personnel Training, one of the three departments, Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievance and Personnel theory. Therefore, UPSC is only a central recruiting agency, while the Department of Personnel and Training is the central personnel agency in India. The role of UPSC is not only limited but also recommendation made by it. They are only of advisory nature and hence not binding on the government. It is up to the Indian government to accept or reject that advice. The only safeguard is the answerability of the government to the Parliament for departing from the recommendation of the Commission. Further, the government can also make rules which regulate the scope of the advisory functions of UPSC. The emergence of Central Vigilance Commissions in 1964 affected the role of the UPSC in disciplinary matters. This is because both were consulted by the government while taking disciplinary action against a civil servant. The problem arises when the two body standards conflicting advice. However, the UPSC being an independent constitutional body has an edge over the CBSE, and which is created by an executive resolution of the Government of India and conferred statutory status in October 2003. Articles related to UPSC article and subject matter. Chapter 16. Appointed and term of office. Appointment and term of office of members. Removal 317. Removal and suspension of a member of Public Service Commission, and 318. Powers to make regulation as to conditions of services of members and staff of the Commission. 319. Prohibition as to the holding of office by members of the Commission on ceasing to be such members. 320. Functions of Public Service Commission. 321. Powers to extend functions of Public Service Commission. 322. Expenses of Public Service Commission. 323. Reports of Public Service Commission. Okay, now you complete it. Okay, thank you friends. I think it will help you.